Good morning, class. Once again, we are back with our chapter number 5 of history, When People Rebel. So, 1857 and after. So, we are looking at this chapter in the point of view, as I have already told you, that 1857 was a time period when it was said that it was the first war of independence being fought by the Indians. It was also known as the Sepoys Mutiny. Okay. So, or the national uprising. So, we have already seen that how the Mangal Pandey was a British officer, was an Indian soldier working for the British government, had taken the lead and fought the entire revolution, took out the entire revolution, okay, from Barrackpore till Delhi. It is still going on. Now, the thing which we are going to see in today's topic is the company fight backs. That means after this revolution, the country, how the East India Company is giving them the answer back, how the company has fought back. Now let's see. Unnerved by the scale of the uphill, the company decided to repress the revolt with all its might. It brought about reinforcements from England, passed new laws so that the rebels could be convicted with ease, and then moved to the storm centers of the revolt. Delhi was recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857. So, the East India Company had brought many reinforcements from England, passed new laws so that they could suppress the rebels, and Delhi was again recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857. Please underline that. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was tried in court and sentenced to life imprisonment. I have already told you that Bahadur Shah Zafar was the last Mughal emperor, and he was being arrested and put into jail for life imprisonment. He and his wife Begum Jinat Mahal were sent to prison in Rangoon. So his wife's name was Begum Jinat Mahal. Please underline it. Jinat Mahal were sent to prison in Rangoon in October 1885. Bahadur Shah Zafar died in the Rangoon jail in November 1862. Please underline all of these years. They are very important. Okay. Now, after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, now again the recapture of Delhi, however, did not mean that the rebellion died. So that if you have once recaptured Delhi back, that does not mean that the entire revolution had died down. People continued to resist and battle the Britishers. The British has to fight for 2 years to suppress the massive forces of popular rebellion. So, totally they had to fight for almost 2 years to suppress this entire huge rebellion. Lucknow was taken in March 1858. Please underline this. Rani Lakshmi Bai was defeated and killed in June 1858. A similar fate awaited Rani Avanti Bai, who after initial victory in Kheri chose to embrace death when surrounded by the Britishers on all sides. So she has done suicide. Okay, so she took her own life. Rani Avanti Bai. Once she won, but still after that she was again surrounded by enemies. So she had to do suicide. Tatia Top escaped to the jungles of central India and continued to fight a guerrilla war. So Tatia Top was again a very scholar in army tactics. He knew a war technique that was known as guerrilla war, which is supposed to be fought from the forest. Hence he escaped and hid in the jungles of central India, and from there he continued the fight of guerrilla war with the support of many tribal and peasant leaders. But he was still captured, tried and killed in April 1859. So here Tatia Top also died. He was arrested, captured and died. Just as victorious against the British had earlier encouraged rebellion, the defeat of rebel forces encouraged desertion. So just as the victories, just as the Britishers were winning, so it is encouraging the rebellions to fight, but it was actually defeating the rebel forces and they were discouraging. The British also tried their best to win back the loyalty of the people. They announced rewards for loyal landholders who would be allowed to continue and enjoy traditional rights over their lands. So now Britishers were worried. They started rewarding their loyal landlords, telling that they would continue traditional rights over their lands. Those who had rebelled were told that if they submitted to the British and if they did not kill any white people, so that means they will be excused or they will be remain safe and their rights and claims to land would not be denied. Nevertheless, hundreds of sepoys, rebels, nawabs and rajas were tried and hanged. But in spite of all of this, still many sepoys, rebels, nawabs and kings were arrested and died. Aftermath. Now, aftermath means what? The last, the result. So, what happened? After so much of struggle by the Indian soldiers, the Indian people, even after the mutiny of the soldiers, the uprising, the East India Company fighting back. So, after all of this entire fight, what was the result? Let's see. The British had regained control of the country by the end of 1859, but they could not carry on ruling the land with the same policies anymore. So, Britishers had actually regained their control in the entire country by 1859, but now they cannot rule the land with the same policies anymore, which how they used to rule previously. Now in the same manner they are not able to rule. Given below are the important changes that were introduced by the British. So the first point is the British Parliament passed a new act in 1858 and transferred the powers of the East India Company to the British Crown in order to ensure a more responsible management of Indian affairs. So the British Parliament had passed a new law. In that they had transferred the East India Company's entire power in the hands of the British Crown, British King. Okay, so why did they do this? To ensure that they are doing it more responsibly, managing the Indian affairs. A member of the British Cabinet was appointed as Secretary of State for India and made responsible for all matters related to the governments of India. Even a new secretary was also appointed. He was given a council to advise him called the Indian Council. The Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy, that is a personal representative of the Crown. Through these measures, the British government accepted direct responsibility for ruling the India. All ruling chiefs in the country were assured and their territory will never be annexed in future. They were allowed to pass to their kingdoms in their heirs, including adopted sons. So it was that the law has been made that in near future their territory will never be harassed or taken back, and they will be allowed to pass their kingdom to their own sons, even including adopted sons, which were previously not allowed. However, they were made to acknowledge the British Queen as the sovereign paramount. Thus, the Indian rulers were to hold the kingdoms as subordinates of the British Crown. So it was that they will be the king, but still they have to take into consideration that they are under the British Queen's rule. Okay. Third one, it was decided that the proportion of Indian soldiers in the army would be reduced and the number of European soldiers would be increased. It was also decided that instead of recruiting soldiers from Awadh, Bihar, Central India and South India, more soldiers would be recruited from among the Gurkhas, Sikhs and Pathans. So it was decided that from Indian soldiers that will be reduce the number of European soldiers, and instead of that soldiers from Awadh, Bihar, Central India and South India would be recruited, including Gurkhas, Sikhs and Pathans. The land and the property of Muslims was confiscated on a large scale, and they were treated with suspicion and hostility. The British believed that they were responsible for the rebellion in a big way. The British decided to respect the customary religious and social practices in people in India. Now British had to accept the Indian social practices. Policies were made to protect landlords and zamindars. Thus a new phase of history began in 1857. So many such policies were being made to protect the landlords, zamindars and give them the security. Thus in the history after 1857 a new phase began. Now you can see this map. This is about the revolt in northern part of India. This entire region is the northern part of India. If you move to Sialkot is no more. You can see Sialkot is no more in India. Okay, it's Sialkot, Lahore, Firozpur, Julun and Philor. This all of them are right now in Pakistan. Now Saharanpur, Rohtak, Delhi, Meerut, Moradabad, all this comes here. Delhi part, Uttar Pradesh, little parts of Madhya Pradesh, entire parts of Madhya Pradesh, UP, Delhi and MP. These all things were included in the revolt of northern part of India. Okay, so that completes our chapter here. Before I finish, here is a small case study. You have the Khurda uprising. It's a small case study. I think you can yourself read it out. Okay, it's nothing but how this uprising was there in Meerut, in Barakpur. the same type of uprising by the soldiers had taken place in Khurda. Read this entire case study on your own. Go through it very properly. Do not take it lightly, because objectives questions, one sentence questions, 1 mark questions can also be asked from this sources or case studies. Please go through. I am not reading because I am giving it to you to read it thoroughly. Okay, I don't have anything for the explanation. It's a small story, but yes, questions can come. Please go through it and understand. Now yours is elsewhere for a heavenly kingdom to a great peace. Okay, I'll read this for you. While the revolt was spreading in India, in 1857 a massive popular struggle was raging in the southern parts of China. It had started in 1850 and could be suppressed only by the mid-1860s. Thousands of laboring people were led by Zhong Yang to fight for the establishment of the heavenly kingdom of great peace. This was known as the Taiping Rebellion. Wang Yong was a converted Christianity and was against the traditional religious practices in China such as Confucianism, Buddhism. The rebels of Taiping wanted to establish a king where a form of religion, a form of Christianity was practiced, where no one held any private property, where there were no difference between social classes and between men and women, where consumption of opium, tobacco, alcohol, activities like gambling, prostitution, slavery were prohibited. So this type of country they wanted. The British and French armed forces operating in China helped the emperor of the Qing dynasty to put down the Taiping rebellion. So that's what they did. Okay, that completes our entire chapter. Moving on to the question answers. Already question number 1 and 2, 3, 4 has been given to you as homework. I want you to write as 5, 6, 7 and 8 for your homework. 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, by the time. Thank you, class.